Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Parabrahmane Vidmahe Shiva Tattvaya Dhimahi Tanno Mohana Prachodayat. Om Parabrahmane Vidmahe Shiva Tattvaya Dhimahi Tanno Mohana Prachodayat. Om Parabrahmane Vidmahe Shiva Tattvaya Dhimahi Tanno Mohana Prachodayat. My dear friends and fellow travelers, welcome to my first session. Before we start, I would like to wish everyone a very happy Vishu and Iniya Tamil Puttandu Nalvazhukal. Today is the beginning of a new season, of the new year, celebrated in some parts of India, especially the southern part, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. And I couldn't find any auspicious day to commence this direct interaction with you people. It's an opportunity that I take with deepest gratitude, and I surrender everything at the holy feet of my master, Sri Brahmarishi Mohanji, who has been instrumental, pivotal in my existence ever since he arrived. Every new beginning in our tradition is attributed to Lord Ganesha. Lord Ganesha, in traditional sense, people consider him as mere remover of obstacles. But Lord Ganesha is far beyond that. Mohanji has a very special place for Lord Ganesha in his heart. Every single center of ours has the Prana Pratishtha of Lord Ganesha. And the form of Ganesha that we have in all our centers is the Parabrahma Rupa, or the supreme consciousness angle of Lord Ganesha. Now, let's understand a bit more about Lord Ganesha and his significance. And it is very important for, I would say, parents to know as well, so they can teach their children about what Ganesha actually signifies and how to connect, etc. Now, Lord Ganesha, in Mohanji's words, is Supreme Parabrahma himself, or the representation of the cosmic consciousness. There is a backstory to it, which is Ma Parvati was in her cottage and she had asked Lord Ganesha to protect the gates. And Lord Shiva, when he came there, he was not allowed by this little boy, Lord Ganesha. And out of anger, Shiva chopped his head. And when Parvati came to know about it, she requested Shiva to give life to this young boy because he was merely doing his job. And then Shiva fulfilled her wish by instilling the head of Lord Ganesha, the elephant head, uh, on Lord Ganesha. Now, you may ask, you could take any other head and place it on the boy, right? Or even the head that had fallen onto the ground. But why elephant? That's where the true essence or the larger significance is and the message that Shiva is conveying. Elephant is considered as the largest mammal on earth, right? The biggest head animal on earth. Now, that biggest head basically represents the cosmic consciousness. It's not ordinary head, it's the largest brain, right? Now, let's get into the physical features of the beautiful head Lord Ganesha has. So, we discussed he has the biggest head, which is very true, and that represents the cosmic consciousness. Then, if you look at the eyes of Ganesha or the elephant eyes, they are teeny tiny. They are really, really small. That basically signifies that the approach or the look is more towards inwards rather than outwards. Or, in other words, the small eye basically represents that there isn't much that you need to look outwards, everything is more inwards. And hence, just the small eyes to represent that. Then comes ears, the big flappy ears of Lord Ganesha. Mohanji always says you should be like Lord Ganesha. Why? Because the big ears represent that you should hear more, right? He always says, like, you have 2 ears and one mouth, basically to hear more. And Ganesha's mouth, if you see, the elephant's mouth is really small from the proportion that you see for the overall body. The mouth is extremely small. Basically, talk less and listen more, absorb more. That is what the significance of the ears and the mouth is. Then comes the trunk. Trunk basically expresses two different aspects. One is the strength. With a trunk, an elephant can uproot a tree completely in no time, right? And at the same time, it is so sensitive that with the trunk, an elephant can pick up a coin that is on the ground. So it has both the strength aspect and the sensitive aspect, which is what the trunk represents for us. And then the tusk. He originally had two tusks, and the story is he had to break one of the tusks when he was writing Mahabharata. So the pen broke, so he had to replace it with something else. So he immediately broke his tusk and started writing, right? So again, back to what Mohanji always says, which is when it comes to purpose, nothing should deter us from focusing on the purpose. Keep doing what you have to do. Obstacles may come, but there will always be an opportunity for us to come back and do what we have to do. So the single tusk or the broken tusk of Ganesha basically signifies just that aspect, which is the oneness aspect, and most importantly, just get the job done more than anything else. Right? So this is the form of Ganesha. My experience of Ganesha, right? When I grew up in an Orthodox Brahmin family back home, there would be a lot of festivals, there would be a lot of rituals and everything happening. And invariably, every single occasion you go there, there is the first puja that always happens is Lord Ganesha's puja. And I was always awed by the way Ganesha was worshipped, because Ganesha could be worshipped in any form. Like, for example, the way, like, even in weddings, right? If they have to invoke Ganesha, all they do is they take a plate, they take some turmeric, and then they mix it up with some water, make a paste of it, and then make a cone of it. And then they apply the kumkum and offer some flowers and some akshata or the rice, and that's about it. I have even seen Ganesha in because I come from a village background, right? Before the harvest or before they even enter the field, some of the people whom in our words we call them illiterates and whatnot, but they are so deeply connected to the nature and to the aspects of it. They worship Ganesha. I have seen our own people, like the people who used to work in our farm, take a bit of cow dung and they do exactly that. Place it in a corner, they worship. Because Ganesha is very easy to be molded in any form, and he is very, very simple, and he is always available at a call for you, right? The mantra is extremely simple. Like, all you chant is like, Suklam Bharadaram Vishnum Sasivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasanna Vadhanam Dhyaye Sarva Vignopashante. And then you do the offering to Ganesha. Ganesha is there. You seek blessings for whatever work that you are going to do or the prayers that you have, and you ask him to remove all the blockages, and he gets going with that. So even if you were to look at all the Puranas and Vedas and whatnot, there might not be many aspects where they highlight Ganesha, but invariably, Ganesha is the first and the foremost that gets worshipped everywhere. If I were to draw parallels to get deeper into this Advaitic philosophy, Adi Shankara, right? The one who absolutely lived and breathed the cosmic consciousness, who is the master of the Advaitic philosophy, right? So he knows and he resonated with the formless aspect. Even he celebrated and he glorified Ganesha. So much so that he wrote Ganesha Pancharatna, right? Ganesha Pancharatna. Pancha means five, Ratna means jewels. So, those statements, if you were to read those verses along with its meaning, it's so beautiful how he glorifies and how he celebrates Ganesha. Again, the reason why he does that is Ganesha is the representation of the cosmic consciousness aspect, the oneness aspect that we are all talking about, right? So Ganesha plays a very, very crucial role in that particular angle as well. Back to our centers and the way Ganesha is worshipped, right? Now, Ganesha, as I said, is very easy to call, is pretty much like our friend. You invoke him, he is there, and he is your buddy. He helps you in every possible way to achieve whatever your outcomes are going to be. Right? There are various forms of Ganesha, right? If you were to go and search, like there are innumerable forms or the way Ganesha is worshipped, right? You have a Ganesha for Siddhi, you have a Ganesha for Buddhi knowledge, you have Ganesha for protection, you have Ganesha for evil eye, you name it, you have all kinds of Ganesha, right? Because people want various aspects, right? We always go to temple asking for something. We always need something or the other. So Ganesha, as a bestower, takes all of those forms and he delivers. But the form that we have in all of our centers, as I said, is the Parabrahma aspect of Lord Ganesha. Now, the worship that we do in our centers is Ajam Nirvikalpam, Nirakaramekam, Nirananda Ananda Advaita Purnam. It simply translates into Ganesha is unborn, Ganesha is absolute, Ganesha is formless, Ganesha is beyond joy, and Ganesha is beyond bliss. Ganesha is one, Ganesha is infinite. Ganesha has no differentiation, neither has he got any desires, nor has he got any other forms or attributes, and Ganesha is the supreme Parabrahman. So that's what the first verse signify for us. Ajam nirvikalpam nirakaramekam nirananda ananda advaita purnam param nirgunam nirvisesham nireham parabrahma rupam Ganesham bhajema. Then the second aspect. The second aspect is, let me recollect, sorry. Gunatitamanam Chidananda Rupam Chidakasa Akasha, sorry, Chidananda Rupam Gunatitamanam Chidanandarupam Chidabhasakam Sarvagam Jnanagamyam Munir Akasha Rupam Paresham Parabrahma Rupam Ganesham Bhajema. Again, we celebrate Ganesha as someone who is beyond attributes, the one who is intelligence himself, who is bliss effluent. Ganesha is all pervading. Ganesha is the knower of all the knowledge that we have. And Ganesha is the one that all the sages meditate on. Ganesha is formless. Ganesha is like a space. Ganesha is omnipresent, and that is the supreme Brahman or the supreme Parabrahma aspect of Ganesha. And then the last one is the one that I really like the most. Jagat Karanam is the reason why this earth prevails. Jagat Karanam Karanajnana Rupam Suradhim Sukhatim Gunesham Ganesham Jagat Vyapinam. He lives, he prevails all around the universe. Jagat Vyapinam Vishwa Pandyam Suresham Parabrahma Rupam Ganesham Bhajema. So Ganesha is the cause of the world. Ganesha is the primal knowledge. Jagat Karanam, Karanajnana Rupam, Suradhim, Sukhatim, origin of gods. He is the origin of bliss. Gunesham, Ganesham, the lords of gunas and the lords of hosts. Jagat Vyapinam, Vishwavandyam Suresham. He prevails all around the universe and he is worshipped by all. And he is considered as the Lord of the Lords. And to that Supreme Parabrahman, that I bow or I surrender. So that is the Ganesha aspect there. And that's the mantra that we chant when we invoke Ganesha in all of our centers. The other important aspect of Ganesha is Ganesha resonates with stability. Ganesha, if you were to consider your spine as a complete building, Ganesha is the one who is staying at the root. He is called as, he stays at Mooladhara. Mula, the beginning, Adhara. He is the foundation for everything. So if your foundation is weak, then your structure is not going to be stable. So Ganesha stays in Mooladhara basically to provide you that stability aspect more than anything else, right? So when you connect to Ganesha, you pray for Ganesha basically to provide that stability. So through that stability, even when there are hurdles, when there are obstacles, etc., Ganesha is able to easily remove all of those things because you are rooted in stability, right? Even Mohanji always says this: if you were to close your eyes and if you were to feel your spine, right? If you were to just merely focus on your third eye, right? You will straight away start feeling some tingling sensation on your forehead and on top of your head, etc. Right? Because the third eye is where all the nadis come in confluence there, right? Sometimes it gets really tricky because if you do things, where they do such as, the third eye activation and whatnot, if you start jump starting some of these aspects, you go crazy. So which is why Mohanji always says you connect to the root of the spine, feel the root of the spine, and you will be able to see that exact feeling here. But because you are rooted in stability, right, your aspect on your third eye will still work and it is far more powerful and more stable that way. So Ganesha sits in your Mooladhara. He provides that stability aspect for you, allowing you to handle any challenges, any obstacles that comes in your life, and you can prevail beyond all those aspects. Now, this is the so as you can see, Ganesha, literally by his physical form, if you were to expand and view those aspects, you are able to resonate with him because Ganesha is within all of us, right? Because it's cosmic consciousness that is driving all of that. Two other aspects that I forgot to mention about Ganesha, right? One aspect is the belly. Ganesha has a big, huge belly that basically represents or resonates that the entire universe is basically there, right? He holds everything in his belly. And if you look at the vehicle that he uses or the Vagana, it's Moshika or mouse, right? For the size that Ganesha is, if you were to visualize him, I have seen such cartoons where you have the mouse wearing a helmet and riding a bike, and Ganesha sitting on the bike, and then he is traveling. It's one of those kids things that I saw. It was so beautiful, and I wouldn't mind actually watching that again after this one is over. That means a lot for me personally, right? One, it gives you the joy and the pleasure. You start connecting Ganesha as your own friend, your own buddy, your own playmate. But if you go to the deeper meaning of the mouse aspect or the Mushik aspect, that's predominantly because it's considered or it is equated to ego aspect, right? Because it is very restless. The mouse is always restless. It is always going here and there and searching for this and that and whatnot. So it is the aspect of the mouse here is representation of the ego. Ganesha doesn't crush the ego here, right? For the size that he is, you're talking about the size of an elephant sitting on mouse. What is going to happen to mouse? Mouse is not going to survive. It will probably go 7, patala loga, straight down. But Ganesha basically rides on that because he keeps a control over the ego. That's what that aspect represents. That we will be successful, we will be rooted, we will be stable if that ego aspect is kept in check. And then you are able to connect within yourself and you are able to go deeper within yourself. So, speaking of the mouse aspect, I could remember once it was during the COVID time when I was in Bangalore with Mohanji, Achan Amma, and everyone. And Achan had actually blessed me a 500 rupee note, if I'm not wrong. I still have it. It's a very precious possession of mine. He blessed and he gave us on the day of Vishu. Um, Mohanji's house is a house for all beings, and a mouse is, not left out. So we had a mouse that used to come who used to eat anything and everything and used to go away, right? And Mohanji always says, keep the food outside so the mouse can eat and go. Now, this mouse became pregnant, and then it came into Mohanji's altar and it delivered baby. Amma used to, basically very funny enough, and Amma will say that, we thought our house was actually a house, with so many people and, everyone visiting us. It is almost like a wedding hall because it is always party. Even if it was COVID, you had so many people thronging the house. And then ultimately we converted that into a maternity ward as well. So Mohanji's house was basically representation of everything. You had delivery happening to the mouse. You had people coming there and whatnot, burning their baggages and leaving behind stuff. So I'm saying this because I just connected to Amma, on this Vishu day, and this happened, and the Moshik aspect, sort of came through to me. So sorry, all in all, back to the topic of Ganesha. Ganesha is our inspiration. Ganesha is our aspiration. The Parabrahma aspect of Ganesha is our aspiration. It's very easy for us to connect to Ganesha. It is very easy for us to invoke Ganesha. It is very easy for us to maintain that relationship with Ganesha as well because he is within you. As I said, the Mooladhara is where Ganesha is there and he holds you there steady and stable, right? So, my request to each and every one of you, including myself, this is a practice that I'm going to start from today or tomorrow. When you wake up, first thing in the morning, before we touch the phone, before we check WhatsApp, before we start involving ourselves in the worldly worries, connect to Lord Ganesha, connect to your Mooladhara, and simply feel Ganesha. Simply feel Ganesha and ask Ganesha to protect you, to hold you stable, to give you strength, stability, and agility to handle any obstacles, any challenges that is going to come that way, your way on that particular day. If you do this every single day, then if you start feeling Ganesha more and more in your Mooladhara chakra, in your base, right? Ganesha is going to give you that stability and the life is going to be much more easy. Not that the problems or any of these things will run away. If at all, any person who is in the path of spirituality, he's probably going to face more and more challenges every single day. It's like, okay, today you have got this problem. Good. You survived. Tomorrow there will be more. Day after tomorrow there will be more. Right? They basically give you water, they stabilize you, and then they start beating you. That's only because this is an opportunity, especially when you have a life with a living master such as Mohanji. It's an everyday opportunity for us to burn something, right? So they say kick ass moments. Every single second, every single minute is actually a kick ass moment for you because you will be facing the wrath, you will be facing the challenges. But that's where Ganesha provides you that stability. And no matter what happens, the challenges, while it may prevail, Ganesha will ensure that you are stable, you are holding, you are firm and rooted in your spine. And that is going to, be a segue into whatever that would come to us in our life. So with this I would like to conclude today's discussion. If you feel you have taken something from this, please drop in your comment. If you want me to explore any specific topics that you have in your mind, please do drop that as well. And most importantly, share your feedback. It's very, very important that I learn and I grow along with you. And we all travel together. That's the main aspect here. We are all fellow travelers in this amazing journey. They say outer journeys and outer travels and inner journeys. This is very true, especially in this path of pathless. We all are there to support each other and to walk together. So, thank you so much. And as with always, whatever I had said today, if there are any mistakes, I humbly prostrate at the feet of my master, Shri Brahmarishi Mohanji. I offer everything at his holy feet. None of this is mine. Everything comes through him. And at his feet, I surrender everything. Kayena vacha manasendhrirva buddhyatmana va prakrite svabhavat karomi yadhyat sakalam parasmai narayanaayeti samarpayami mohanji charanam sharanam prabhadye om loka samasta sukhino bhavantu loka samasta sukhino bhavantu loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Have a good day, everyone. Thank you so much. Jai Mohanji.